Have you ever wondered why certain sauces and dishes taste so good in a restaurant, but when you try and make them at home with a stock cube, you don't get that same depth of flavor? Well, the reason for this is homemade stocks. I'm going to show you the tips and tricks on how to make some fantastic stocks to keep them in your freezer, pull them out for when you need them to take your cooking to the next level. So in this series, we're going to learn the basics. We've got a ton of other things planned. Now it's time to learn this and more. So let's get cooking.
Okay, so let's start by chopping up 2 medium-sized onions. Put the chopped onions into your stock pot. I'm using a 14-litre stock pot here. Chop up 2 celery stalks and put them into. Wash them first. Now just use the white part of the leek. Make sure you wash this thoroughly. Take off the bottoms, chop this up and put this in as well. Peel and roughly chop 1 carrot and add that into your pot as well. Add 4 cloves of garlic with the skin on. Add 4 sprigs of thyme, 2 bay leaves. Add half a teaspoon each of coriander seed and white peppercorns. Chop up 2 kilos of chicken legs and carcasses and add this to your pot. Add 7 litres of cold water. Bring up to the boil, then turn down to a simmer and skim from time to time. Just let it simmer like this for 4 hours. Next, ladle this into a colander. This is a good little tip. You can put your colander over 2 flat skewers over a pan and have a bit of confidence and it won't rock and fall over. Then pour in the rest of your stock and let this sit ideally for about 10 minutes. Then pass this through a fine sieve lined with kitchen towel and then pour this into your containers and refrigerate this. Look at the amazing color of this stock. You'll get 3 liters from this recipe. You can use it like this or you can freeze it for later. Once the fat has solidified, scrape it off the top and you can use this for later. Pass this through a sieve if you want to catch any last bits of fat. Now the best way to store this in the freezer is in Ziploc bags like this. Manageable sizes work best. Label everything so you know what it is in the freezer. I'm going to keep half a litre in the fridge so I can use that during the week. And there you go, 3 litres of beautiful blonde chicken stock ready for the freezer. Now let's make the brown chicken stock. Chop up 2 kilos of chicken carcass or wings and put these into a roasting tray. Roast for 40 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit until golden brown. Peel and chop up 2 medium-sized onions. Set these aside. Peel and chop 1 carrot. Chop up 2 stalks of celery and add this to your vegetable pile. Chop and wash 1 leek and add this to your vegetables. A little bit of the green is okay. Now you're going to need 6 sprigs of fresh thyme, 3 bay leaves, and a teaspoon each of black peppercorn and coriander seed. Cut 4 cloves of garlic in half with the skin on and add this to your aromats. After 40 minutes, give your chicken bones a mix around and then add your vegetables. Mix these through and then we are going to roast this again for about 30 to 40 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit. After 30 or 40 minutes, it should look like this. Add the roasted bones and vegetables to your stock pot, then add some water to the oven tray to deglaze and scrape off any bits that are still attached. Add the scraped chicken juices along with 7 to 8 litres of cold water to your stock pot. Once it's up to the boil, turn it down to a simmer, then skim off any foam from the top. Next, add your herbs and aromats, make sure they're fully submerged, turn this down to a simmer, and we're going to let this go for 6 hours. After 6 hours, it should look like this, beautiful and smelling amazing. Pass this off in the same way that we did the blonde chicken stock. You'll get about 2.5 litres. Once this has passed through the colander, make sure it sits for 10 minutes so you get every last drop. The next day, your stock should be nice and wibbly wobbly from all the collagen that has come from the bones. Feel free to moisturize. Again, scrape off the fat and save this schmaltz for later. Portion these into manageable sizes and label them up ready for the freezer. This video is not sponsored by IKEA, but if you are listening, come on, let's go. Take 3.5 to 4 kilos of beef bones, put this in an oven tray with a rack fitted and roast at 425 for 40 to 60 minutes. Wash and chop up 3 carrots, 4 sticks of celery. Wash and chop up 1 leek, mostly the white part. If you get a bit of the green, it's fine. And 2 medium onions. Again, we're going to just roughly dice these. Set these all aside together. Now we're going to need half a bunch of thyme, and I'm using some of the celery leaf as well. 1 teaspoon of coriander seed and 1 teaspoon of black peppercorn, and we're also going to use 4 bay leaves. Set this all aside for later. After an hour, your bones should be nice and golden brown like this. Add them to the stock pot, fill the pot up with cold water to 2 inches below the top, and bring this to a simmer. Take out the oven rack, add your vegetables, mix it through the beef fat, and roast for about 30 to 40 minutes. As the beef bones are coming up to a simmer, skim off any impurities or foam that comes to the top. Once the vegetables have been roasted, transfer them with a slotted spoon to your stock pot. Don't put the fat in. Add the herbs and aromats. Put this to a simmer, and we are going to let this ride for 10 to 12 hours. Skim as you go. I've simmered this for 10 hours as the marrow has come out of the bones, so that means I've extracted all the flavor I need. At 10 hours, you'll get about 4 liters of stock. Now we're going to strain this off in a colander, but take out the big bones first with a pair of tongs. That way you're not going to splash yourself with hot stock. And just do the same as before. Pass this through and let this sit for 10 minutes to get every last drop. Ladle this through a fine sieve lined with kitchen paper just like you did before. Store these in your containers and refrigerate so that the fat can solidify to the top. Scrape off the fat like before, and you can save this to roast any kind of potatoes or vegetables that you like. Optional step to pass it through another sieve and then portion it in your Ziploc bags like before. Make sure you squeeze out all the air from the Ziploc bag, this way they will freeze properly. Label these up, put them on a tray, and they are ready for the freezer. All these stocks will keep for 5 days in the fridge or up to 5 months in your freezer. Make these stocks as and when you need them so that your freezer will be fully stocked. Like, comment, and subscribe, and see you on the next basics video.